You wake up in the morning. There is a man standing at the foot of your bed. He lived 50,000 years ago, and somehow he is here. The first thing he sees, a small box next to you starts screaming. You don't flinch, you just hit it with your hand, then pick up a flat, glowing rectangle and start poking it with your finger, silently, without getting up, with the kind of face that says this is simply a required part of waking up. 20 seconds have passed. The ancient man doesn't understand what's happening yet, but he already feels it. Something is wrong. Because for him, morning begins differently. You open your eyes and you read the world. Where is the sun? Is it quiet or not? Is everyone nearby still alive? You decide what happens next. Our mornings are built differently. A sound tells you to wake up. A screen tells you what happened overnight. Notifications tell you what matters. A clock tells you you're already late, and you haven't even stood up yet.
He follows you. You step outside and climb into a metal capsule. It moves on its own. No horse, no effort. That alone should be enough to bring him to his knees. But then he looks around. Hundreds of identical capsules, one person in each, all moving in the same direction. Nobody talking. Every single one of them staring into a rectangle. Then everything stops. Traffic. The ancient man concludes they must be hunting something very slow. Anthropologists have calculated that hunter-gatherers walked an average of 9 to 15 kilometers per day. Not because they wanted to, but because without it there was no food, no water, no materials. Movement wasn't a sport. Movement was life. The average city dweller today walks about 4 to 5 kilometers, and some of those steps are from the couch to the fridge.
You arrive at work. You walk into a building, sit down, stare at a screen, then go to a meeting, sit down again, stare at a different screen, then come back and stare at the first one. The ancient man quietly asks, "What are you doing?" You explain. Data, reports, emails, processes. He asks again, "But what do you have in your hands?" You say nothing. This doesn't mean modern work is meaningless. It builds medicine, cities, systems that feed billions. But it's invisible. You spent 8 hours in complete focus, and by evening not a single physical object in the world changed because of you. The inbox got a little smaller. Until tomorrow morning. Psychologists call this the loss of closure, the felt sense that something is done.
When you can't see the result with your hands, the brain doesn't register that work happened at all. Research shows this is one of the main mechanisms behind burnout. Not exhaustion from effort, but exhaustion from invisibility. The ancient man made a spear and held the spear, started a fire, and there was fire. You have 43 unread messages marked urgent by people who also don't know why they marked them urgent. Lunch.
You walk into a supermarket, and this is where he stops for a long time. Strawberries in January. Mangoes from a country he has no name for. Meat with no blood and no smell in clear plastic sliced into perfect identical pieces. Bread that won't mold for 3 weeks. Drinks in colors that don't exist in nature. And salt. Salt everywhere, in everything, poured in like it cost nothing. 500 years ago, salt was currency. The word salary literally comes from the Latin salarium, the salt ration given to Roman soldiers. People paid for it with silver, wars were fought over it. Today it costs less than the bag it comes in. He won't say this is bad. He'll ask, "Where did all this come from? Who made it? Why is this fruit here in winter?" Once, you knew the origin of everything you ate. You caught it, grew it, or traded for it with someone nearby.
Food was tied to a place, a season, an effort. Today, the average product in a supermarket has traveled about 2,500 kilometers before reaching your plate. Nobody in that chain knows you, and you don't know any of them. The ancient man picks up an orange triangle from a bag, chews it slowly, stares at the packaging, looks at you, says nothing. The workday ends, you're free. And the first thing you do with your freedom is drive to a special building to simulate the very thing you spent all day trying to avoid. There are machines there. You start running in place, lift heavy things that don't need to go anywhere, pedal a bicycle that goes nowhere, while a small device on your wrist counts your steps and congratulates you for pretending to travel somewhere. The ancient man watches for a few minutes, steps closer, steps back. The treadmill was invented in 1818 in British prisons. Inmates were forced to walk it for hours as punishment, so grueling and pointless that in 1898 it was banned as cruel and unusual treatment. Today we pay a monthly subscription for it and call it self-care. We built a world where movement became unnecessary, then invested billions into an industry that sells movement back to us. The global fitness market is worth over $100 billion a year. It only exists because ordinary life no longer demands anything from the body.
Home. You walk into your building, dozens of families behind the walls, living people 1 meter away through concrete. He can hear them, a television, footsteps, laughter, a cough. You don't know any of their names. This shakes him more than anything else. Not the cars, not the screens, this. For most of human history, people lived in groups of 30 to 150 individuals. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar calculated this through neocortex size. Our brains are literally built to maintain around 150 close relationships. Not followers, not phone contacts, people who actually know you. In that group, you might have disliked someone, gone a week without talking to them, but you knew everyone by name, and everyone knew you. They knew you were afraid of the dark, that your leg hurt after that hunt, that you laugh in a strange way. You were seen. Today, a person can live in a building for a year and not know the name of the neighbor through the wall.
In 2023, the World Health Organization officially declared loneliness a global epidemic. Not a metaphor, an epidemic, a formal public health crisis. Chronic loneliness affects mortality the same way as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Not 15 a week, a day. We live more physically close together than at any point in human history. Thinner walls, denser cities, centimeters between people. And we have never felt more alone. Night. Soft bed, locked door, warm, quiet, no wolves. Perfect conditions for sleep. You can't sleep. You scroll, just scroll. Video after video. One more. Then you check the time. It's already past midnight. Here's what's strange about this. The blue light from your screen suppresses melatonin, the hormone that tells your brain it's time to sleep. Evolution spent 200,000 years tuning us to fall asleep when it gets dark, and we hold a small artificial sun 20 centimeters from our face and wonder why we can't sleep. But it's not just the light. Social media algorithms are literally engineered to stop you from stopping. This isn't an accident, it's a design decision. The infinite scroll never ends because an ending means you might leave. Thousands of engineers worked on this. They have years of your data. They know which video you'll watch to the end, at which moment you'll slow your thumb, what will make you stay one more minute. You're not weak-willed. You're just fighting a system that was specifically designed for you to lose. The ancient man looks at you, at the screen, back at you. You say out loud, "Okay, I'm sleeping." You pick up the phone again. To him, it looks like this. A person lying in a warm, safe place, no threat, no hunger, voluntarily staring into a fire that gives no heat and allows no rest. Telling themselves each time it's the last time, and each time it isn't. Here's the point. Ancient people did not live in paradise. Average life expectancy was 30 to 35 years. Teeth rotted without treatment. Wounds got infected. Hunger was real and not a metaphor. Winter was a genuine threat, not a reason for cozy photos. Modern civilization did something extraordinary. We eradicated smallpox, reduced child mortality by dozens of times, gave people painkillers, clean water, electric light, the ability to talk to someone on the other side of the planet in a second. The average person today lives longer, healthier, and safer than any medieval king. If our ancient visitor learned all of this, he would think he had found gods. But then he would look at us, at people who live longer than anyone in history and are chronically anxious about the future, at people who have more food than any generation before them and are stressed about food, at people with warmth and shelter who feel unsafe. He wouldn't judge us. He simply wouldn't understand. Because the gap between our world and our biology is enormous. Technology rewrites itself in decades. Evolution moves over thousands of generations. Our brains are the same hardware from 50,000 years ago, They know how to survive in a forest, read tracks, sense danger, trust the people nearby. They're not very good yet at an open feed at 1 in the morning, at work whose results can't be touched, at a city of 1 million people where there's no one who is yours. We are the same strange animal, just in very different cages. And the last thing the ancient man would ask before leaving: could he take another bag of orange triangles? Because that's the only thing today he understood without an explanation.